Thank you. This takes us on to item B4, which is a request to address the board by Lieutenant Steve Stanfield, who's also an area commander. Good evening, Lieutenant.
Good evening. Good evening. Thanks for having us back. With me is Officer Randy Engel. He's one of my staff members that helped me with the programs. And so I wanted to readdress the board one more time and say thank you for allowing me back to speak to you again about the relationships the Modesto Police Department is making with your students in this district. At the start of this school year, I came here and I spoke to you all about our vision with regards to how do we as a police department work better with your youth now that the school officers were no longer available. We promised to help build relationships with students and work toward a common goal of supporting and mentoring. For those of you who are only hearing this for the first time, I want to quickly recap our last meeting. I feel this is important because after my last visit to this board, I had people ask me if I was truly doing this. Is he just saying he's doing this, and will he live up to his expectations of what he said he would do? So I guess I should first go over what we said we were going to do. Modesto Police Department set goals for 2017-2018, and we identified and implemented youth outreach opportunities and increased our youth participation. We identified several ways we could improve, and I want to hit the highlights of those programs. The first was set up by Officer Randy Engel, who's with me tonight. He developed a Save Me a Seat program. The idea is to ask officers to take a lunch break on campuses and have lunch with the kids. They stick around, they play games, they interact on a personal level with the students and staff by talking and just playing games with the kids. This was our way for your youth to get to know the officers for more than just the uniforms they wear, but to actually play with them and build relationships with students. The second program was a running club program at James Marshall. About every week, Detective Sean Dodge can be found at James Marshall School running with the Milers. It's a running club on campus. Sean takes time to get to know the children. They use running as a way to bridge the gap between us and them, and they just have fun. The students have learned that Sean is there for them. They can lean on him for advice, mentorship, all the while improving their physical fitness. The third program that we have taken part in is the Black Student Unions at several Modesto City high schools. Sergeant Tyler and Sergeant Payne managed this program, and they met with BSU kids at Beyer, Davis, Johansson, and other high schools. Sergeant Tyler and Sergeant Payne took this endeavor to heart, and they mentored students and helped them break down what we believe to be some lack of communication that was present with some of our BSU students. The students got to know officers as people, and we could have open dialogue to understand each other's points of view. As we continue to build these relationships, we can start to mentor what we believe to be the leaders of tomorrow. This year, the BSU and MPD group participated and ran a candy cane walk, similar to a cakewalk, for a free Christmas event designed for elementary-age kids. I was there, and I watched as BSU students and MPD officers handed out candy canes, took pictures, and had fun building relationships. This year, we also held our second annual BSU Students versus MPD basketball game at Beyer High School. The last program we participated in is the Beyond the Walls program. This program is actually done outside of Modesto City schools, but the focus is to have officers meet with elementary-age students whose parents are incarcerated. We talk to the kids about who we are as people, and we mend relationships that are often torn due to the actions of their parent. We educate the children on the fact that their parents are good people who love them very much, but they have made a bad decision and bad choices have consequences. Earlier this last school year, I stood here and I thanked you all for allowing us to be a part of making this community better through these youth outreach opportunities. And we promised you that we would work hard to prove through actions, not just words, that we were going to fulfill our commitment. I'm here to say that as of April of 2018, we had visited your school campuses over 150 times. These students included Save a Seat lunches, BSU visits, running events, career days, lectures, walk to school, and many more. We spoke to students at Beyond the Walls for after-school programs over 7 times. We accompanied students on a field trip to Stanford State University, and we were able to donate 2 bicycles to students who were struggling to get to school on time because they had to walk. This is all in an effort to be part of helping and mentor the youth of this community. Also not on my list was a program that we spoke about earlier, but something I still wanted to mention. Through partnerships with this district, we held a Police Youth Summit at the Stanislaus County Regional Training Center, our police academy. We hosted 116 high school age students who had an opportunity to experience what it's like to work in law enforcement. We walked them through real life police scenarios. We had a lecture from an officer who was a graduate of this district, and we provided them lunch. So what's next? Some of you know me. You know I'm not one who thinks that status quo is okay. And we at the police department feel that we should always be striving to do better. Clearly, our focus this last year has been on the children that attend the campuses, and I agree that's important. But there are others on that campus that need our love and support. This last year has been tragic with school shootings in Florida and Texas, and we know that parents and staff in this district feel that tension each day due to the horrible actions of some. We want you to know that we understand and we will always be there to support and protect our schools. I'm here to tell you that we will continue to commit our staff to all the programs we participated in this last year, and we're always looking for more. Recently, Detective Dodge has begun the process of applying for a federal grant, which we hope will fund uniforms and travel for a running club. The idea is to not incur any cost on this district, but to show you that we want to partner with our schools and focus on what's important, our youth. There's one group that I did miss, and that's kind of why I'm here today. Well, we all agree that the most precious commodity in our schools is the students. We have forgotten the heroes of our district, the staff. Teachers and school staff, you deserve our love and respect for all you do for our children. As I said before, some of you have no idea who I am and what I spoke about last time, so I'm going to give you a little bit of who I am. I'm a third-generation graduate of Modesto High School. I'm the father of 2 Modesto City Schools graduates. I'm best friends to several school teachers in this district and others. I'm the husband of a Modesto City Schools employee and the son-in-law of a Modesto City Schools teacher. I am someone who is mentored by teachers in this district, and I'm the man I am today in part because of them. Teachers and school staff, you deserve to know how much you mean to this community and how truly valuable you are. Earlier this month, I was informed that 2 teachers of mine from the 90s were going to retire this year, and on Thursday, the 31st of May, they would be leaving Modesto High School for the last time. Patrick Durr, if you're here, please come forward. Over 25 years ago, you took me under your wing and you kept me on a straight path in a time when I could easily have gone astray. You allowed me to be your teacher's assistant. You would talk to me about English, life, and how to behave. You never judged me when I was bad, but you gave me direction, teaching me compassion and caring. I followed you and I looked up to you as a mentor, and all these years later, I hope that I've made you proud. Because of you, I will never forget how to spell the word public. There's a story here. He asked me to proofread a speech. You're all educators. You can figure out what letter he left out. But public was what he was trying to say. And we managed that just fine. Mr. Durr, I will never forget you and the impact you made on my life and many other students' lives. I would also like to invite Ron Vincent forward. Mr. Vincent, you were my science teacher, and I'm here to tell you that you kicked me out of my class for a week. Was I angry? Yeah. Did I deserve it? Yeah. When I went back to your class, oh sir, you punished me. You never judged me anymore. You didn't treat me any different. You reached out to me and brought me closer to you. This is a lesson that I have taken into my life as a father, husband, and as a police officer. I can hold people accountable without holding a grudge or treating anyone differently. You thought you were teaching me science, but you were teaching me how to be a man, and I thank you. Gentlemen, I want you to know how often... I want you both to know how often I thought of you, and I kept in touch. I did not keep in touch with you, but I wanted you to know what I did with myself after school. I went on to further my education. I received a master's degree in criminal justice management from the American Military Academy. I served this community for over 20 years, and I'm a division commander of the finest police agency in the nation. I am a part-time college professor, a husband, and a father, all because of you. Are any of my fellow classmates here from Modesto High? I've asked them to be here because I want you guys to see that out of our class, there's lawyers, doctors, nurses, principals, dispatch supervisors, police officers, who's back in the foyer. Yeah, Dave, I didn't forget you. And teachers, just to name a few. Gentlemen, this is your legacy. This is your reward for all your years of teaching. Each one of us is grateful to you for making us the men and women we are today. And as a tradition in law enforcement, I would like to present you both with a challenge coin to always remember how much of an impact you made on us. Well done, and thank you both. And please know that you have touched each one of us, and you will never be forgotten. It was kind of odd. Mr. Vincent actually exchanged phone numbers with me. But that's okay. It's okay now. It's okay now, right? Teachers and staff of Modesto City Schools, we need you to know that we at the police department look to you as our heroes. We give you our children each day, and we trust you with them, and from our group, that says a lot. We understand that you are often labeled by the actions of one bad individual. We know that you are held to a higher standard both on and off duty. We know that you do not get into this job for money or for praise, but you show up every day because you care about our youth. Teachers and staff, you do not hear it enough from our community, but we thank you and we love you for what you do. No matter how much money is provided in any budget, trust me, I know, you'll never be paid enough. You'll never be paid what you are worth, and you will never be rich doing this job because it is a calling. But there are other rewards besides money in this world and the next. Always remember, you are called to serve, and we thank you. So now we get to this part of my speech where I ask, what's next? I'm not here asking this board to do anything other than to continue to open your arms to us as a partner. This year, I would like to see our students, our staff visit over 200 campuses. I'd like to continue to build relationships with teachers and staff. So I think what can we do? How can we be better? I've thought about this a lot, and here's my answer. I don't know. But that doesn't mean I won't try. We mentioned love several times in this speech, and I'm asked, how do you show love? Well, a wise man once told me that love with an agenda is not love, it's just a program. So for now, I will just say we will continue to love the youth and staff of this district, and we will continue to look for opportunities to build relationships and work collectively to make this community better for everyone. There's one last thing I need to address before we leave. Craig, you're a dear friend of mine. I will miss you greatly. Craig and I have been friends for 20 years. We've seen our children raised together. We've worked together. We've been to meetings together. Craig, you're a great man. This district is losing a valuable asset the day you walk out that door. I have one more challenge coin to present to you, and I want to say thank you.
Thank you.
I'll stay up here if anybody has any questions.
All right. Thank you, Lieutenant Stanfield. We should invite you to every meeting. That was such a wonderful presentation. I think Trustee Brown had a comment or question.
No question, but just a huge thank you. When we look at other communities that have suffered, to see this bond with our students and law enforcement, what a tremendous asset that is in our community. And thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's our privilege.
So appreciate the fact that our children can grow up learning that police officers are their friends and their allies.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Are there any comments, any more comments from the board? Or then questions from the audience? Or comments? Yes. Reverend Crosby.
So I will make this short and sweet here. I do want to say that, again, there's a hallmark here that reconciliation cannot take place where vital relationships have not been built. So I want to commend you, Lieutenant, for the work that you've done. Lieutenant Stanfield is also our K-12 officer for the Modesto Police Clergy Council, which now includes the Modesto City School Board, Fire Department, Probation, Parole, Sheriff's Department, and Highway Patrol, as well as District Attorney's Office and the Mayor's Office. So we thank God for this man. And the last thing I want to say is something he did not mention, but you would get it exude through what he demonstrated here, and that is he is also a believer in the fact that those things that we look at as swinging lanterns of eternity, and we call them stars, there is a purpose that lies behind those swinging lanterns. And it is a purpose that embraces the whole of mankind, and that's a God concerned about his children. Thank you, my brother.
Thank you. Ms. Barrera?
On behalf of We're La Raza Parents Union, I want to thank you on a personal level, because when you spoke over at Pastor Reverend Anderson's church and you gave all of what you do here in this community, I went to the other communities and I bragged about you. And I said, we have to do what Officer Steve is doing over with the Modesto City School District. And I just want to thank you, because I speak to parents. I have Victory Outreach in the audience this evening, and we're on board. We want to help better serve too. And I just want to thank you and your team and Glenn and Chief and everybody that's paying attention to the most precious, which are our future, our children, parents' children. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Williams, good evening.
Good evening. I just want to thank Steve. I had the pleasure of working with Steve's mother-in-law, who was just an outstanding teacher. And I met Steve through my nephew that I was raising. And I want you to know, Steve, that, you know, sometimes you don't realize what an impact you make on a young man who was having some real difficult times. And thanks to Officer Steve, when he was a beat officer, he was one of those people who came and lent a helping hand that made a difference in my nephew, who's a successful young man today. And I want to thank you for that. And he never forgot. He even remembered when he saw me again where we knew each other from. So thank you and congratulations. And if the NAACP can be of any support and help in what you're doing, we're there for you too. Thank you.
Great. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Amanda Soria. I like to say you have touched a lot of people. I don't know if you're familiar with Leticia Lopez. That's my cousin. And she made a speech. She got pregnant young, and she made a speech to people who graduated. And as you know, she came back to be a police officer, and it was because of you guys. And I just wanted to let you know that she told everybody that, you know, people can change, and it was for, if it wasn't for you guys. So I just wanted to thank you guys.
Thank you. All right, come up to the podium. We'd like to hear what you have to say. Oh, come up to the podium. We want to be able to, everybody to hear you.
For a long time, for over 20-something years, I've been on the other side of the law. But here it is, you know, I'm beginning to see the light, and the light's clear.
Good.
You know, so I walk in here and I hear a lot of stuff. But what I see is what I'm drawn to. So I'm here just to volunteer my time. I just quit my job because here maybe 4 years ago, he's back there, Keanu, and he got dropped in my lap. And I really didn't know, you know, all I seen it was my family, you know, but there's a bigger picture behind him. And because of this, I'm here today and I see the light. And I know I'm called for a bigger purpose than just going back and forth to prison. You know, I enjoy working with kids. I'm part of Victory Rangers and the outreach, you know, working with youth, boys, and all that. So I just want to volunteer my time, man. If there's something that I can do, you know what I mean, just being there and give a testimony, a help, or whatever it may be, you can call on me. And, you know, Sister Debbie, I mean, we go way back, and she can tell you about the lifestyle. Because I'm not into, you know, like a braggamon and tell everybody where I come from, you know, but I've been on the other side. And I enjoy the light on this side. And I really enjoy what you did. Because if it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't be where I'm at. You understand? And because you were my enemy, but I was the worst one. You see that? I found out that I was the enemy, not you guys. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm here to help you.
All right. Thank
Just
you.
to be clear, none of this I do. The staff at Modesto Police Department does this. I just say yes.
Oh, you're too modest. All right, all right, anyone else? Thank you for coming tonight. Thank you to Mr. Vincent and Mr. Durr. Enjoy your retirement. And thank you, Lieutenant Stanfield, for coming tonight and sharing that wonderful report of all the things Modesto PD is doing and being such a great partner to us. We appreciate you and look forward to a continued relationship. Anything else? All right, then we'll move on